Poetic License is a word drafting and poem crafting card game where 3 to 5 poets compete to create the most compelling haiku. In your game box, you'll find snap cards, parts of speech cards, and word bank cards. Start by separating your snap cards into 4 decks based off of their value. If you're playing with 3 players, only use 2 snap decks. If you have 4, use 3. And if you have 5, use all 4 snap decks. Take 1 card from every snap deck you're using and place them into a bonus pile nearby. These will come into play later. Next, shuffle and place down each parts of speech deck. You should have a deck for articles, conjunctions, interjections, prepositions, and pronouns. Place down your word bank deck, give each player a reference card, and prepare to play. Each game of Poetic License consists of 2 rounds, and every round begins the same way. Each player is dealt 11 word bank cards. Next, flip over the top cards of every parts of speech deck. Every round consists of 4 phases. First is the poem crafting phase. During the poem crafting phase, players can either play a card from their hand, or they may choose to play the top card from one of the parts of speech decks. Every word chosen is added sequentially to their poem. Once your single action for the turn is completed, you will pass your hand to the poet to your left if you're in round 1, or to the poet to your right if you're in round 2. If no cards in your hand or in the parts of speech decks appeal to you, you may also use your single action to use your Poetic License to modify your poem. This power lets you either switch the order of a card in your poem, swap a card from your poem with a card in your hand or a card from one of the parts of speech decks, or you may discard a card from your poem entirely. No matter what choice you make, your poem must still contain the correct number of syllables in each line. Once your choice is made, remember to pass your hand off to the next player. Continue until all poets complete their poems. Remember, a haiku consists of 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. You can find the syllable count in the top right corner of every card. If you finish your poem faster than the other poets, you can grab the highest value snap card from the bonus pile. For example, in a 4-player game, the first poet to finish receives a 3 snap bonus, the second receives 2, the third receives 1, and the last poet receives no bonus. Once all of your poems are completed, it's time to share your work with your fellow poets. After all the poems are read, every poet takes 1 snap card from each deck and anonymously distributes them to the other players based on whose poem they enjoyed more. When everyone has chosen their favorites, all of the word bank cards are discarded and the parts of speech cards returned to the bottom of their decks. Once every player receives their hand of 11 new word bank cards, the next round begins. After the second round is over, players total up their snaps from both rounds, and whoever has the most snaps wins. Have fun, and may the best poem win.